Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Becoming a TechnoWizard. And today, today we about to do some arts and crafts, all right? Also known as Brownboxing. So in this video, you're going to need a pair of scissors, some tape, or preferably electric tape, so you can easily, tape stuff on and off without having to rip the paper. You're gonna need a pencil, maybe. You're gonna need some paper, construction paper or cardboard or even anything like that, something that's stocky. And then you're gonna need a box. That's where you're gonna post your website. You're also gonna need a pillow if you're like me and your joints and your bones are not very good. And yeah. So as you all may know if you watch my videos, I've been trying to create a 3D website for my portfolio. Um, but it's not going to be real 3D because even though I do know how to sort of use A-frame and tools like that, I'm not too good at coding. All right, and I don't want to try to pretend that I'm good at coding. So maybe I could, create a nice looking website, coding most of it up, HTML, CSS, jQuery, all that stuff, A-frame, and do something neat, right? But it's going to take me a really long time to do it. And I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be very good with it because I just struggle with coding. However, um, what I found is that as I've been trying to prototype or to sketch what this website will look like, I've been having a lot of trouble with the tools that I'm using. That's another reason why I wanted to when I want to create Flubby. My whole idea of a simple 3D modeling software, but that's besides the point. The point is that on Figma, it's really hard to like do 3D stuff or even fake 3D stuff. Mostly because of the Z index. Like you can't, there's no Z index. Maybe I don't know why I'm just thinking about this now. This whole video may be redundant. Let me look that up real quick. Is there a plugin for Z index on Figma? Well, I'll look for that. Basically, I've been looking at a lot of tools. A-frame, there's this tool called Vectory, there's a tool called Figaro. A number of A-frame competitors, all these other tools that call themselves, free online 3D modeling or free online, virtual or augmented reality, whatever. Most of these are really annoying to use, really difficult. Um, Either they are incompatible with browser-based, like my Mac OS, or using a MacBook. Like you have to download something, which I can't run too much on this MacBook, or you have to pay for it, or it's just really difficult to use. Like Vectory, it's somewhat decent, but I can't even like rotate I can't even rotate like on the Z-axis very easily. Um, I might show you my screen in a minute, but it's very frustrating. But let me see this. Adjust the Z index with layer order before we start. Use this feature. Change the order layer. Order that layers appear in the layer panel. Change the order of the layer and also press layer Z index. So yeah, they do have a plugin for Z index, but it's not really. I don't think you can really rotate things like I want. Because I want to be able to, let me just show you my screen real quick before I get into the arts and crafts section, just show you what I'm working with here. Now, I showed this a little bit before, but to give context again, so I want to create a 3D website. As you see here, I've been testing out a lot of different iterations of what this might look like. But you see, I created like a kind of card type of system or just a kind of sort of normal 2D page, right, that you have in the center of the screen, and then on the sides I want to have these other screens that will either pop out from on the side or behind or in front of the center screen, depending on if they hit show more. I showed a little bit of that here. So if you hit see more, um, it'll do something like this. This will fade out a little bit, and you can read more about the case study I'm talking about here. You can see, the navigation will pop out. Maybe have a button to make that pop out in or out. Might keep that at the top, like right here. Some people said that's a little bit that's more preferable. This is another idea I had where it will actually fade out the background to bring the foreground more into attention. But the point is that it's impossible in Figma, as far as I know, to like rotate this. And that seems like a simple thing, but when you're trying to create something that's going to be at least pseudo 3D, that's going to look 3D, you need to utilize the third, that third axis, the back and forth axis. You need to, move something there and move it there. So if you have a center screen in the middle, maybe you want another screen that's going to come at an angle like that, so you can see, you can read on that screen without having to take up more real estate in the center of your attention. So it's very difficult to sketch that out on paper as well as on using these tools. So I figured, I learned this new tool that I spoke about before called Brownboxing, where people take some cardboard or some paper and they actually prototype a VR or AR or mixed reality interface using just real physical objects. I'm just like, duh, right? You can use the 3D space right here in the 3D reality that we have. So I find it ridiculous. It's kind of so funny that I never really thought about that. Sad a little bit, but whatever. But I'm gonna go ahead and try doing some of that now. All right. So I don't really know what I'm doing. I've never done this before, and I don't even have a clear understanding of what I want to prototype. So I'm gonna show that here. Let's stop sharing. So let's go ahead and get some paper. I'm going to talk through as I cut this up. I'm going to just cut it up in probably like the squares or something. That's going to be the most simple designs I'm probably going to use. So I'm going to talk through some of the ideas that I have. All right. So the main reason why I want to create a 3D interface, a 3D website, or at least a pseudo 3D website, is because that's what I want to work on. I want to have a job where I'm working on immersive experiences. I know that's a kind of a wish list. That's a kind of very aspirational, especially in today's market, but that's what I want to do. All right. I don't mind working on the other stuff, but I want people to know that this is what I'm super passionate about. This is what I really want to work on. And in that same realm, I want to push myself, right? And I want to do what I enjoy. I don't really enjoy working on 2D interfaces. I will do it for a client, for a project, mostly because, especially because thanks to Flatiron, the projects that I had at Flatiron, we got to work on meaningful projects. It wasn't just, oh, make this widget or whatever. It was actually like, hey, this is a project. This project brief is actually based on a real world problem. There's real people that have these actual problems. And so it made me really interested in solving those problems. So I had no problem working on, these 2D designs and interfaces and stuff like that, because I can always bring my ideas into that more traditional format. But I'm gonna cut some more. I don't know how. Again, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just gonna try to make that paper. I'm gonna make my stuff here. But yeah, I don't mind working on these 3D or 2D stuff, but I want to be able to show my passion. So another reason why I want to use a 3D space is because it allows you to use more space, right? More screen real estate. Now that's not an excuse to fill it up with a bunch of stuff, a bunch of crap. What I learned working in virtual reality arcade is that you perhaps coincidentally or ironically or whatever you want to call it, you actually want to focus more on the content, what's directly in front of you in a virtual reality space. you can have an extremely interactive environment where you have a number of objects all around you. But when you want something, when you want somebody to do something in a virtual reality space, you have to be front and center with it. Like you have to say, interact with this thing, make a big screen in front of you and say, look at this thing, do this one action. That's what makes virtual reality so immersive, is that you can focus on one thing at a time. You can only focus on one thing, because if you have a whole bunch of screens up and doing all this other stuff, then the average person is not going to understand what to do. They're going to be like, you think people are overwhelmed with something like Amazon with like all their navigation. Imagine that in a 3D space, like in a 360 environment with navigation all around you. That's just too much. It's way too much. I've seen that way too often. The best games in virtual reality, they need a menu, right? They need people to say, press play, choose how many players you want, choose what map you want to play on, stuff like that, and so far the best interfaces are just 2D interfaces. But the immersive environment is there to, or the environment is there to immerse you into that experience. And the environment is there to kind of lead your attention to that and to make that content more engaging. Because you know that when you interact with this content, the environment is going to change around you. So you feel more empowered with that interface that you're interfacing with, that you're interacting with. So I want to portray all of that in my portfolio. I want to allow people to focus on this one thing that I'm telling them, that, hey, I'm a designer, I'm interested in, building empowering tools. I want to change the world. And, these are my skill sets, or this is the type of company I want to work on. So I want to, be able to focus people's attention on that. And then when they open up my portfolio, I want them to focus on my story. And it's going to, go into, go into the whole, case study format. But I still want the environment to be engaging. And as you can see, I was only using like a gray box, right, as a 3D space around it. But I need to figure out something more interesting that's going to tell a story in and of itself. That's the whole point of an environment in a 3D space, is to tell a greater story, give you greater context to get you more immersed. All right. And so some ideas I had is, of course, a spaceship, right? That's the first and foremost thing. As a futuristic person, as a person always interested in science and technology, spaceships, starships, space opera, that's always been super interesting to me. And unfortunately, I haven't seen too many really inspiring ideas of what a good spaceship, uh, internal space should look like the control deck, right? They always have these interesting interfaces, but unfortunately, when you really look at them, they kind of fall apart. Like they look good at the glance, and when you don't really have to think about how you're interacting with the spaceship. But when you're thinking about, okay, what if I actually want to use the spaceship command deck, um, as an inspiration for my website, then you kind of cross, streams there, and things stop making sense. So I want to see if I can create some type of spaceship uh, control center or something that is still um, inspirational, that is still understandable. Rather, that's the word I'm looking for. So I don't want to have a whole bunch of just random control thingies that make it look like a spaceship command center, because there's a lot of buttons. I want to engage the user to interact with it, because I want them to feel like they're going on a journey with me. So they come into my website and like, boom, this is my space. This is my, my starship. Welcome aboard, right? And then they interact when they if they want to interact with the portfolio. It's like interacting with a spaceship. So choosing a case study will take you on an adventure to, that a new planet, a new um, universe, or something like that, right? So I want people to feel like they're going on an adventure through my portfolio, and that will include the magic side of it. So when people interact, say they choose a case study, and this case study, like it will have like maybe on the view screen in front, a planet, or another case study will have like a magical portal, or flying city, or something like that. um, just to make it a little bit more, engaging and stuff like that. Or I might just keep it practical. Like for instance, Quell. theirs was they had the Austin Outpost, and maybe that could be somewhere where we travel, like the planet Austin Outpost, the planet. Yeah, you can have a planet called Austin Outpost, and it's like an LGBTQI plus um, utopian city, like a Eugenopolis, yes, a planet-sized city. All that's a that entire planet-sized city is a affirming place for LGBTQIA plus people, and they can go there and then it will go through my case study, right? Or the next one, the other case that I'm going to talk about is a library tool. So maybe it's like a mythical library in the the forest of or New Timbuktu, you know, because Timbuktu is the biggest library in history, even greater than the Great Library of Alexandria. So maybe it can be like New Timbuktu library, right? And they can enter in there and it'll go through my case study. So each one can have a greater context. Um, okay, so how to show all this, right? I don't know. Maybe you have to fast forward through this part. There's going to be a lot of just trying to figure stuff out. Okay, so if I want to make a spaceship, like how do I do that? I'm thinking I want to focus. I want to focus my put this up here. I don't know what I'm doing, y'all. All right, so you can have like a command board type of thing situation here. So open that up. So this could be like a view screens. Maybe you can have smaller screen or something in the middle. So you can have like, if y'all can see that. Ooh, might just skip through all this because I don't know what I'm doing. Let's see where my mind is taking me. So I'm saying this is a greater shift. You can have that there. I'm not really thinking about like the mobile interface because I want to I want to say that it's going to be like you can rotate on your phone. So on A-frame, when you go to a 3D website, you can kind of rotate things around. I might be able to show you here. So this is like a my 3D website. All right. You can kind of rotate the whole screen around. So it doesn't really matter how big the space is, right? As long as you can tell that there's more on the side, I can have something indicating, hey, rotate the screen, or people just know that they can rotate. So hopefully it won't be like too much. That won't be too much trouble. I have to test that out to see. But yeah. So I'm thinking have a screen in front, says welcome, you know, need some type of welcome thing hanging out. Now I wanted like some type of hologram thing, but that's probably way beyond my level of expertise here. But hmm, actually might be a better way to show the screen. Um, okay, so let me think this. Let me talk about what I'm thinking. In the spaceship, you walk in to the spaceship. You kind of open up the portcullis. I don't know if that's what they call it, like the back the door that opens up into the command deck or whatever you want to call it, the flight deck. Then you see some giant screens in front of you, or do you? Maybe you see the view, like the view, because I do want to, he pay attention to the view around because the focus is not going to be on the spaceship. Um, because I'm not too talented with creating 3D models. I don't know how to do it at all. So if I do use that, I would have to find a free internal 3D modeling that could use that I can use on my website. I don't know if I can do that. So I want to make sure that I'm not putting too much emphasis on the spaceship itself and more on the view, right? So you walk in and you can see, outside that shows what's out, because I can always find really cool pictures and showcase those. um but that's just again just the example, right? Another idea is the space patio. So in the space patio, you just have you know a little banister in the front. You have like a little banister out front. um and you have one area that's bigger than the other. So one area would be like the stairs that you come up, a patio or something, or whatever you want to call it. And then other is just water. It's just rippling water. Maybe you can have like a gate that comes out of it, like a door or something, right? That comes out of the water. Um, Again, that's kind of maybe depends on if I can find a cool 3D model or anything like that for it. But some I always want to play with water ripple effects. That's not too hard for me. I might be the like just find a cool plugin or a cool what do you call it, 3JS model or WebGL. You may find a WebGL, a water effect and something coming out of the water. Like I've already seen something like that. So it's just a matter of plugging it into whatever website tool I'm using. So yeah, maybe you can have that. So this is a patio, this is land, this is water. I have a gate that comes out, and then this is like the portfolio, or the case study. So you can go there into the case study, and you can have multiple ones if you have. Since I have 3 case studies, I'm gonna have at least 3 case studies. So um, all 3 of them can come out, and so the user can choose which one they want to do. I'm still one of these here. And let me use another piece. This is just ground. You got your case studies right here. These are like gates or portals or something like that that rise out of the water. And so the person can be like, hey, do you want to go to this case study, this one, or that one? And So in the middle would be like, my name is Elijah. I am a TechnoWizard or product designer and stuff like that. Now the problem with that is that in a 3D space, you don't want to force people to read too much, to have like a whole paragraph of text. So I want to think about what oh, what are the specific things I want people to know about me, and um, how can I portray that in as succinctly as possible? Succinct. But yeah, so I need to think about just how to portray that. So shoot, so I need pencil. We can use that now. Okay. It's gonna be large font, so excuse my ugly handwriting, anyways. I just popped my lid and my lid just broke. There something like that. So it's backwards, but whatever. Tape, come on, tape. There you go. Just hanging there. All right, so maybe we can have like something introduce my name here, and on the other side in the back would be like a moon or something like that, like a planet. I love that aesthetic, that sci-fi aesthetic. I'm gonna draw y'all a little planet here. The ring around it. That out. So now I'm thinking about this. I think it would be better if I tried to at least make a 2D version of what I'm thinking of all these ideas, right? Even though I can't do it very accurately, so it won't be as real, or won't be as idealistic or whatever. However, I can at least kind of think through my ideas, right? Instead of spending all this time cutting out random shapes that I don't know how I'm going to use. Uh, so yeah, if this is ever I do this in a real world setting, I would probably, if I had a team or anything like that, I would recommend the team, think about what, just draw out or use on Figma or whatever tools that we have, some ideas for what they think they can make in a 3D space, right? Just quickly draw it out. And then when we want to test out all these ideas, then we can, begin making the shapes and all that stuff, because that will allow us to have a more focused time. So yeah, interesting thing here. But yes, made a little planet, the ring around it. So I'm gonna put that in the back here. Probably could have made it bigger. Sci-fi thing so cool, right? You have a huge planet in the background, but whatever. We'll stick with this for now. I'm gonna put it up here. It should be in the back, but I don't feel like going back there, and you all might not be able to see it too clearly. But yeah, that could be like the about, right? It could be maybe about me, or Yeah, I'm thinking about me because my whole thing is going like beyond, right? Going beyond the moon. Not just a moonshot, but like I don't shoot for the moon, I shoot for the stars in order to land, you know, um, to land amongst them. Because the biggest thing people say, one of the things people say is, shoot for don't shoot for the sky, or you land. Some people shoot for the sky, you land on the floor. Others shoot for the moon, and you land in the sky, right? But I'm like, hey, so if you shoot for beyond that, you shoot for the planets, and you land on the moon. You shoot for the stars, and you land amongst them. Maybe a shoot for the moon and land on the stars, but that's inaccurate. But anyways, so yeah, I can have about let's write that there. Yeah, about me. That there. Um, no, some other things I need. I need to showcase my resume. Need a place for people to see my resume and then to contact me. So I can have like a mailbox feature. I don't know why, but I've been thinking about having like a little mailbox. I'm gonna use this small one that I already have here. Um, just a little mailbox, y'all. That's for the contact page, little mailbox. I could put that, somewhere on the side there. Not really sticking. Might have to take that up. Um, some other things I'm going to need is got my case studies, my name. Oh yeah, I need to really show my other skills. This mailbox is falling. Um, yeah, I also need a place to say quickly, just say what my skills are, right? So I'm not sure what I'm going to do for that. I mean, I can move this actually. I can actually take that here. Just have that hang it down. There we go. All right. So that's the welcome aboard. This is my name, about me, contact. Need one for the resume. So maybe that could be on this side here. Um, my resume is just sitting there and you can like grab it. Because the cool thing about virtual reality is that they have a lot of really interesting ways to showcase paper and to showcase like directions and stuff like that. And some of the best ones I've seen is where you just grab a piece of paper off like the floor or a counter or something like that, and it's showing you, hey, this is me. Read this, right? So that could be an interesting thing there. Maybe you can have actually a control deck or something. Or just I don't know. I don't want to have, again, like what I said in my other videos, is that um, when you're designing virtual reality, it's important to have an interactive environment. However, you don't want to have a not redundant, but meaningless interaction. So if you have a bunch of objects that you can pick up, but then you can't do anything with, like you can't throw it at something, you can't, like if you throw it, it doesn't do damage or it doesn't make an impact, or you can't craft with it, then there's no point in having it. It's just a waste of interaction. Um, like there's there's a lot of limitations in virtual reality, and you don't want to try to force people or to encourage people to interact with something that is ultimately meaningless, because then they interact with it, they grab a ball, right? Or rather, a great example is in Arizona Sunshine. You can open car doors, you can open all this stuff, there's open drawers and all this stuff, and usually you just find ammo. But sometimes you find like tennis balls, you find flamethrowers, tape, and all this stuff, right? And in the very beginning of the game, you open up a trunk and you see a flamethrower, or rather, you see a hairspray or a lighter or something like that, and then you see some tape, right? And so people almost all the time think, "Oh, I can craft, I can put these together and make a flamethrower," but you can't. They just have that there. It's not really interactive. And if you can pick up an object and throw it at a zombie, but unless you hit it, it either does no damage or you have to hit it directly in the head. And then no, I'm sorry, no, that's not accurate. You can't, it does no damage. That's my friend, like one of my coworkers, he always says that, oh, if you hit him directly in the head, it'll kill him instantly. That's not really true. Maybe it was true for one of these things, but yeah. But yeah, anyways, the whole point of where I got on that is because I was thinking of having some random object like around the resume, so you can pick up, you know just different objects that you can play around with. But again, I'm not good with 3D modeling, and there's no point in having interactive objects that don't mean anything. The reason why I have a mailbox is because that's obvious. Like, what you do with a mailbox. That's how you talk to people. You can write a letter, right? So that's why I have a contact me page, or contact me. Now, I might not need the mailbox. Maybe I just put my email, or have a messenger bot. That's another idea I had, of having a messenger bot here. And it's like there's a simple plugin for Messenger. You can put a bot on pretty much any website, and it can easily contact you. So I was thinking of having that there, and make a little robot, have like a little simple robot model, and then you can talk to, and that's like you're talking with me. Um, so that's if I don't want to have a contact page, because I don't think I need a contact page. So I might just scrap the mailbox and just have like a physical, little thing there. But the resume, I don't know why I never thought about this. I never thought about just having my resume as a piece of paper, as a big piece of paper, right? In the space here, you can pick it up, and it will zoom up on the screen in front of you, so you can read it clearly, and then you can maybe hit download or something like that. So I think that's a really cool thing. I would not have thought about that if I was just writing or trying to draw, or trying to do this on Figma or online somewhere. So hey, for paper prototyping. Um, so yeah, you got another thing. I'm realizing here is that now that I'm looking at this, I can actually. I was gonna put this like as like a portal, right? A fancy magical portal. But again, I'm being too complicated here. I need to be simple. And look at this. This is a piece of paper, right? You can open it up, and boom, you can have more information here. So one problem I was having is that, because in my design, I had this idea. I had like these little boxes, and it had like a hologram banner on top that says, "Hey, case study one," or it'll say the name of the quick case study, but it just it was like a box, and then just case study in the front. And I couldn't figure out a way to give a better preview of what I'm giving them, because a lot of feedback I see is that people want like a preview. Oh, excuse me. They want to preview what I'm talking about, like what the case study is going to be about, so they can decide if they want to read it, right? They want to see an image and a summary. But it's really difficult to do that in the design that I showed. In every design idea I was thinking about was like, how do I, give a preview in a 3D space? Because a big problem with the 3D space is that yes, you have more space, but you don't want to overcrowd it. If I had just like a whole bunch of like like floating holograms with a bunch of images and summaries, I feel like it will be crowded. Um, like already this looks a bit crowded to me. But I'm thinking now that, hey, I can actually have something like this where it can show, it might even be smaller than this, but it can say like case study, right? And then it can open it up and it's more information. um, Now how the interaction might work, it might be clicking or hovering or something like that opens it up. um, I mean, it's not too different from what I already have. We hover over something and then it opens up. So maybe I need to put it like a preview type of thing, so it's half open. Like this is an interesting interaction right here, where on the front it will just say case study, right? And but you would see that there's something here. You'll see maybe an image and some words. I can draw that out. So it could be, a little example of what's going to be there. So maybe, have the title at the top. Say, hey, this is a case study. And then you open it up and then you get a preview of what that is. Maybe you open up all the way and then it turns into a full page type of thing. I don't know. Another idea is if you have it this way, maybe you can have the image, draw that out, and then the summary, right? So maybe it can be like this. You have just an image and you have a summary. Maybe you can have like a title at the top and then the summary at the bottom. And then when you interact with it, open it up, and then it zooms in, and that's the full case study. So you can just read the whole thing. All right. I don't know. Might be interesting. But all right. So I had to pause it for a second, or for a long time. But made some other little designs here. So here we go. Let me see if I can show everything here. So this is another idea I had where I would create like a wizard lab or a table or something like that, right? So you can have my case studies in the form of the case study. So this was a desktop app, a desktop website, so it'd be in the form of a laptop or something. Then you have the library case study would be like a book, and then one of the mobile case studies I had would be a phone. And then just like what I was talking about with the resume, you could just pick it up and just start reading it. And that would be really cool. For contact, I had an idea for once you interact with this, it will give you options to say, hey, you can have my phone number. You can contact me directly through IM, instant messaging, or you can just email me. It'll have to give the email or something like that. So that would be cool. About me. And then I don't know what this was, but I wanted to, there's those three things I mentioned that I need to showcase. I don't know how to showcase them. So either, I would do something like, hey, here's my career path, and you open it up, have more details. So, hey, TechnoWizard in training, what that means, immersive experience, architect, UX, CX, product design, and then this one was special skills, so empowering tools, blah blah blah, and be a little blurb about those. Or I can do like a vertical thing. So, what my third part is where I want to work at, my ideal work environment, and it'll say, hey, I want to work at a high impact startup, creative agency, and these are industries I want to work in: VR, AR, spatial computing, emerging technology. So I'm not sure what this is going to be, but I'm thinking some magical construct or maybe a holographic construct or something. Just an interesting way to showcase what I'm about. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with something like this. But some other ideas I had, which I don't really have time anymore to showcase, is maybe having a portal, again, kind of like that portal setting, but I will show like the 3D environments or maybe not, it doesn't have to be 3D, it could just be pictures. I have some good quality pictures of my different case studies. So the first case study would be the actual Austin Outpost. They made an architectural like uh, drawing, not drawing, but like a model of it. So I can take that picture and use it as a background for the portal. The library I can just take. We use in our app. We use the the big library, the big library in America, the Library of Congress. Use the Library of Congress. There's some really cool pictures, so maybe I could use that as an example, as a background picture. And then for the mobile, it could be. I'm not sure which case study I'm gonna use for my third one. I might use the repair app, which was a mobile app, or I might just go straight to non-design and use my operations experience at the virtual reality arcade. I could just show the virtual reality building. But the reason I was thinking about using that is because I'll talk about it later, but in more detail. But just because I want to show my transferable skills, and in that, I basically redesigned like the whole operations for it, and that's kind of related to service design. That's a new term I learned. But yeah, so I'm thinking I'm gonna go somewhere with this. I think it's pretty cool. This is a really cool exercise. It gave me a lot more ideas, a lot more practical ideas too, than just trying to think up, how to make something cool, or to try to design something on these tools that are unintuitive. Messing with paper and physical objects gave me a great opportunity to see, what is the most practical ways of building this out, and while still making it really interesting, making it really cool. Um, so yeah, I enjoyed this exercise. I hope you did too. I'm not sure how long this video is. If it's over an hour, I might like speed up through the quiet parts and stuff like that, or I just might leave it raw, like I've been doing with all my videos. Um, but yeah, it was a really cool exercise, and I'm probably gonna do it again. I'm not sure when, but I don't know, maybe. Probably not this weekend. I'm gonna be super busy this weekend. I don't know when, but yeah, it was cool, and hope you learned something. If you did, let me know. Um, Even if you didn't, let me know what you didn't like about this. But I think this is a really cool exercise, and if you have an idea out there, I definitely suggest you try it out. Try to prototype it, paper prototype, brown box, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, have a good day. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.